Alright guys, Patrick with the Wauwatosa Fire Department here to go over an inward swinging door. So one of the first things you're going to do is you're going to look for any kind of safety hazards going on in your working space, anything going on with the door, maybe an overhead air conditioner, whatever may be there. Look for safety hazards. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the door. We've indicated that it's an inward swinging door because we don't see any hinges, and we can see that it looks like it's going to be going inward. I can see the jamb here. So we're going to look for different lock mechanisms. Deadbolts, carriage bolts. After we check for the locks and types of locks that we have, I'm going to give it a try before we pry. So yep, okay, this door's locked. That's not working. So the next step is you're going to take the adze of your bar and we're going to shove it in between the door and the jamb, just like this. Because I got my spike here pointed up, there's no sense in me trying to drive up because I'm going to be blocked here. So next I'm going to go down. So I got my adze in, and now I'm going to power move down. Good tough door. As I power down, I'm going to take my wedge, and I'm going to capture my space. So I captured all the progress I made with the adze power move. At this point, I like to give it just a couple taps. Really seat that in there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my forks and I'm going to go bevel to the door. And this is where you're also going to have a second firefighter come in and tap you in. Unfortunately for me right now, I don't have a second firefighter, so I'm going to do it single man. But you would have a second firefighter tap you in. So I'm going to go ahead and forks are going in. I'm going to take my striking tool, and now I'm going to strike this bar until the crotch of my fork gets in between the jamb and the door. And I'm going to kind of aim it so the forks get all the way past. What's nice is once you get some tension on that fork, if you are by yourself, you can just go ahead and rotate over to give it some hits by itself. So once you get it to where you want it to be, now I got my crotch at about the door and the jamb. So this part is where I'm going to take my bar and I'm going to force it toward the door. So that was a good crack of the door there. I'm going to grab my wedge if it fits, which it doesn't, but I can already tell I've basically defeated the lock, and just come in here with a finishing move and pop it open. After you pop it open, make sure that we reach around, control the door, control the flow path until you do whatever else you need to do. Get your mask up on, get your lines ready, everything's got to be ready to go when you're ready to push it. Okay, so now we have an outward swinging door. So we've identified it's an outward swinging door because the hinge is on the outside. That's a good identification point, the hinge is on the outside. After we identify what kind of door we have, we're still checking for safety hazards, maybe anything overhead. After that, we're going to check lock mechanisms, see if there's any different kind of lock mechanisms, kind of get an idea of what we're going to have to defeat. So now, before we start, I'm just going to tell you that the premise of an outward swinging door is basically just to get this adze behind the back of the door. If we get this adze to wrap behind the back of the door, that's game over. We are going to defeat all the locks and it's going to pry right open. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to set the adze in. So we go in between the door and the frame and above or below the locks that you're trying to defeat. And we're going to tap this in until we hit the stop. So I could feel that it stopped right there. So from this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a crush. I'm going to crush down, boom, and I'm going to crush up. Now in real life, what happens when you do the crush technique is you're going to make space in between the door and the frame, and you're going to be able to kind of see what you got going on and maybe get your adze back in a little deeper. So we give it a crush. So after the crush, I'm seated in. Now I'm going to start prying this door out. And as I start to pry this door out, I'm going to strike myself in. And once you see the abs start getting behind the door, because now I'm looking into this gap here and I can see space. So I'm just going to keep prying and driving. And I can tell now that my adz is behind that door, so I'm going to hit it until it gets to the stop. So now I can see that my adz is all the way behind. At this point, I'm going to take my adz, or my Halligan, and I'm going to pull it outward and defeat the door. So once you get it to this point, see how my adz is wrapped behind the door? That's how you know you're going to get it. Once I'm behind here, if I can't keep pushing this outward to break it, another move you can do is the power move, which will give it just a little bit more of a crack, and then you just finish it off. And still at this point, we're controlling the door. We're controlling the door until it's time to make entry.